Evelyn had a soft spot for sick children her entire life. She had worked as a school nurse for 34 years in a small town in Indiana. She had seen children at their most vulnerable, scared, in pain, away from home. When she retired at 65, she made a promise to herself that she would use whatever time and money she had left to help kids who needed it most. She gave to St. Jude's every Christmas. She donated to her local children's hospital every spring. She kept a small envelope in her kitchen drawer where she put $5 and $10 bills throughout the year, specifically to give away. So when a woman named Patricia called one September afternoon and told her about the Children's Cancer Relief Foundation, a small nonprofit helping families in rural America who couldn't afford treatment for their children with cancer, Evelyn listened. Patricia was warm, personal, and heartbreaking. She described a 7-year-old boy named Tyler from rural Kentucky whose parents couldn't afford his chemotherapy. She described a 9-year-old girl named Lily whose family had lost their insurance and was rationing her medication. She said the foundation was small, that every dollar went directly to families, that there were no administrative fees, no overhead, just help going straight to children who were running out of time. She asked if Evelyn could help. Evelyn said yes. She donated $200 that first call by credit card. Patricia thanked her so warmly that Evelyn felt it for the rest of the day. Over the next 18 months, Patricia called 8 more times. Each time, there was a new child, a new family, a new crisis. Each time, the story was slightly more urgent than the last. Each time, Evelyn gave. She also started telling her friends, her church group, her neighbor Margaret, who had lost a grandson to leukemia years ago. Several of them started donating too. By the time it was over, Evelyn had given $6,400. Her friends and neighbors had given several thousand more. It was Evelyn's son who figured it out. He had been helping her organize her finances for a tax return and noticed the recurring donations to an organization he didn't recognize. He searched for the Children's Cancer Relief Foundation online. He found a basic website, but no IRS registration, no Form 990, no listing in any charity database. He called the number on the website. Patricia answered. He asked for the organization's EIN number, the employer identification number that every legitimate nonprofit in America is required to have. Patricia said she'd have to call him back with that information. She never called back. He contacted the FTC and the National Center for Charitable Statistics. Neither had any record of the Children's Cancer Relief Foundation. The website had been registered 8 months before Patricia first called Evelyn and was hosted on a server in Eastern Europe. Tyler and Lily didn't exist. The families didn't exist. The foundation didn't exist. Evelyn sat at her kitchen table for a long time when her son told her. Then she said something her son never forgot. She said, "I just wanted to help someone." Fake charity fraud is one of the cruelest scams targeting Americans, and one of the most effective. The FTC reports that Americans lose hundreds of millions of dollars every year to fraudulent charitable organizations. Seniors are the most targeted demographic because they are statistically more likely to give, more likely to respond to emotional appeals, and less likely to research organizations before donating. Here is exactly how these operations work. They find donors who have given before. Charity donor lists are bought and sold constantly, often by legitimate charities who sell their donor data as a revenue stream. If you have ever given to a children's charity, a veterans organization, or a disaster relief fund, your name and phone number are likely on multiple lists that have been purchased by fraudulent operations. They build emotional stories designed for maximum impact. Children with cancer, veterans sleeping on the street, animals being abused. These stories are crafted specifically to bypass critical thinking and trigger immediate emotional response. The more specific the story, Tyler, 7 years old, rural Kentucky, running out of time, the more real it feels. They create urgency around vulnerability. It's not just that a child is sick, it's that the child is running out of time right now, and your donation today could make the difference. Urgency combined with guilt is one of the most powerful psychological combinations in existence. They use warmth and relationship to build loyalty. Patricia didn't just call once. She called 9 times over 18 months. She knew Evelyn's name, remembered details from previous conversations, made Evelyn feel like a partner in something important. By the time the amounts got larger, the relationship felt real. And they target good people. Evelyn wasn't naive. She was a school nurse for 34 years. She had spent her entire career caring for children. These scammers specifically look for people whose goodness makes them vulnerable. Here is how you protect yourself and make sure every dollar you give actually reaches someone who needs it. Before donating to any charity, especially one that contacts you first, verify it at Charity Navigator at charitynavigator.org, GuideStar at candid.org, or the IRS Tax-Exempt Organization Database at aps.irs.gov. Every legitimate nonprofit in America is registered and searchable in these databases. If you can't find the organization, don't give. Ask for the organization's EIN number. Every legitimate nonprofit has one. It takes 5 seconds to ask. A real organization will give it to you immediately. A fake one will stall, redirect, or disappear. Never give to an organization that contacts you first by phone. Legitimate charities send mail, run campaigns, maintain websites. They don't cold call you and ask for a credit card number on the spot. If someone calls you asking for a charitable donation, hang up and find the organization yourself independently if you want to give. Give through established, verified platforms. Sites like Just Giving, GoFundMe for verified causes, or directly through major organization websites. Ensure your money goes where you intend. If you want to help children with cancer, St. Jude's and Children's Cancer Research Fund are both fully verified and transparent about exactly how they use donations. And if you have already given to an organization that you now suspect was fraudulent, report it to the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov and your state attorney general's office. Your report matters. Evelyn's son's report contributed to an investigation that identified a network of fake charities operating across 11 states. If this video made you feel something, please hit the like button right now. Not for me, because every like puts this in front of one more generous person in America before they answer a call like the one Evelyn answered. Your tap could protect someone's savings today. Evelyn still gives to charity. Every Christmas, St. Jude's. Every spring, her local children's hospital. She verifies everything now before she gives a single dollar. She told me she doesn't feel ashamed of what happened. She said, "I gave because I wanted to help children. That's not something to be ashamed of. What happened to me is something that should make people angry, not at me, at the people who look for kindness and decide to steal from it." She pauses. Then she says, "Verify before you give. Every time. Because the children who really need help deserve to actually receive it. That sentence says everything. Share this video with the most generous person you know, because generous people are exactly who these scammers are looking for. And leave a comment below. Have you ever donated to an organization and later wondered if it was real? You might be surprised how many people reading this have the same question. Your comment could help someone check before it's too late. Subscribe for a new real story every week. We cover what's really happening to real Americans and exactly what you can do to stay protected. Stay safe. I'll see you next time.